But it smells super good.
Just the first smell of when it touched, wow. Taiwan is my second home. The first time I entered to have my interview, somebody greeted me in Spanish. And I was like, what is this? Oh my god, I love food.
Mm. Hello everyone, I welcome you on the channel Cardamom Cookies, a show where its participants tell what helps them to stay connected to their family and friends when they live abroad. And my guest today is Helena Figueroa.
Hello, my name is Elena Figueroa. I'm from Nicaragua. I am 26 years old. I live in Belgium. I have lived abroad. I used to live in Taiwan, then I moved to Dubai, and now I'm here. Hello,
Helena.
everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Very good. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to cook.
Me too. So, what are we cooking?
Today, we're going to do a typical breakfast in Nicaragua, and we have some of the different things that you can find in Belgium to try to imitate it. But we have things like tortilla, we have chorizo. Chorizo is pork into sausages. We're gonna have scrambled eggs, and we're gonna have frijoles.
All the recipe you will also find in the description of the video. And if you're going to cook it, let me know how was it. I'm very curious. Where do we start?
We're gonna start with the chorizo and the eggs.
All
so
right.
first of all, this chorizo is like the closest that we could find. It's actually from Colombia. And this is a company that, fun fact for those who don't know, there's factories in Spain that actually do products like cheese, like Latin American cheese, and what is some kind of produce. It's really tasteful. I really like it.
Okay, and is it easy to find products from Latin America in Belgium?
This is the first country out of all of the countries where I lived where it's the easiest. I never thought that I was going to find a supermarket for it. So once I found it in Brussels, it was super easy. And apparently, a lot of restaurants, Latin American restaurants that are here in Belgium, are looking for this supermarket to get all of their products.
And what's the name of the store?
It's called La Tienda Latina in Brussels.
I was yesterday with Helena. We went for the shopping, and it's a really very nice place. And I even bought some stuff for myself.
I moved to Belgium in 2022, and I moved because I wanted to do my MBA, and I did it at Vlerik. And also, my boyfriend is from here, so he was the one who persuaded me and helped me look for programs here. So first, we're gonna open them because for us in Nicaragua, the chorizo also comes like in the sausage with a plastic surrounding it. But when you open it, it's super, it looks like ground meat. You know, when it's already, you've ground the meat. So that's what we're going to do to make it smaller because for me, I don't like big pieces in food. And we try to do it as small as possible.
Why this dish? Where does it come from?
Well, actually, it's like a typical breakfast that we have. And why this dish? Because I think that for me, the favorite time to eat is breakfast. I remember that my dad also, every time we were before going to school, it was the only meal that we could sit down all together because then we would all come in different schedules. I had extracurricular activities. My mom was working. So breakfast was like a very important time for us every day of the week. Even in the weekends were even more special because we got to eat more and you had more time to sit down. But I remember that before, like on the days for school, my dad would specifically tell us, you cannot stand up from this table until you have a proper breakfast.
Oh, it's amazing. Actually, breakfast for me, it's also one of the most favorite parts of the day, especially on the weekend, because it really means that you have time, you can do it slowly, you can enjoy time with your family, and it's just a really nice time. And the way how you start your day, it often defines how your day will be.
That is so true.
If you're asked about Nicaraguan cuisine, what comes first to your mind if someone asks you about it? What is Nicaraguan cuisine?
This is a really hard one because there's so many things, but the first thing that comes to my head is pork. We eat a lot of pork, like and beef also. So it's a lot of meat and different vegetables, but like root vegetables like yuca, and we like to boil it. We and it's such a simplicity because we also get cabbage and we do a salad with cabbage and you put the yuca and you put pork that you have marinated. We love marinating the meat, and it's such a simple food, but it brings you so much. So I think that it's meat, it's vegetables, it's a lot of lemons. I think there's we have a lot of sweets also, but we like salty. We like a lot of salty food.
Do you often cook Nicaraguan cuisine at home?
When my boyfriend asked for it and when I can go to Brussels. When I used to live in Brussels, it was more. I had more access to the store. I'm trying still to look for something near to me, but it's in special occasions that I do it because I also want to learn about the culture here and I try to integrate myself as much.
The way you speak about food is really very special. Like when we were introduced to each other, I remember you were mentioning that you really love food. Can you explain a bit where does it come from? This is really very special and very beautiful.
Well, I really have a special connection with food. I feel I I related to very happy moments, especially when I think of food. I think about my grandmother, my mom. My grandmother was a very poor lady, and it was so satisfactory for me to go and visit her because she would tell me the doctors would tell her to not cook. She was not allowed to cook because in an operation, unfortunately, they put the anesthesia wrong. So forever her arm was like it looked super swollen. So she couldn't move and she had to be super careful and they were like you should not cook, you shouldn't be able to do that.
That is like one of the part of life which is very connected to your time with family, and especially for grandmothers. I remember, I mean, all my grandmothers were cooking. My grandmother, she had an oven and she was baking in it. I think it would break her heart if she wouldn't be able to cook things for us.
But that never stopped her. My grandfather, he cooks and he cooks really good. But when my grandmother would know that we were going to visit her, she would always wait for me with fried sweet plantain and cheese and a Coca Cola or a Fanta. And she was like, "Don't tell your mom, it's here." So I really loved it. It was so sweet to see that somebody that was not allowed to cook, that she would try her best and she would make soup also for when I got there. I love soups. That's another thing that when it comes to Nicaragua,
time we're
it's a
going
lot of
soup.
soups. We have so many different
But
types of
soups as dishes.
as dishes, and we eat it when it's summer, when it's like boiling hot in the environment, but we're still happy to eat soup.
Me too. I mean, in Russia, we also have a lot of soups, and soups are really a part of, like, that's one of the most common dishes which we eat during the lunch. So love to food comes from the family. It's really something what connects you into your grandparent, mother, grandparents.
To everybody because it was a moment to share. I really like the moment that you wait to see the expression on somebody's face to see, do you like this food?
Yeah, in this moment, like, oh, it's good.
Exactly. When you're savoring every little bit and it that is in the plate, it's just amazing.
I can't wait to see you tasting this and eating this. It's really very exciting. Where did you live before Belgium?
I was living in Dubai.
But also in Taiwan and Nicaragua.
And before that,
USA.
Yeah. Well, in the US, I was always like 2 months there, and then I would go back 3 months. I worked in the US for like a special program for like 3 months. After that, I lived in Taiwan for 5 years. I loved it. It was, I think, that one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had in my life. After Taiwan, I moved to Dubai to work, and then after Dubai, I was here in Belgium.
I'm so glad you're here. I love it. But it smells super good.
Just the first smell of when it touched, wow.
How many languages do you speak?
I speak currently 5.5, 5.25. I know Spanish, Espanol, English, Portuguese, Chinese, and now I'm learning Netherlands.
And some people say that when you learn new language, it's like when you speak already some languages, it's easier to learn new language.
It is indeed, and also you get to start mixing with the previous language that you were learning. And I tend a lot when I was learning Chinese, I was confusing it with Portuguese. I would start some things, and then now that I'm learning Netherlands, I'm confusing it with a bit of Chinese, and my boyfriend is like, "Stop using
With
the tones."
Chinese,
Yeah,
even.
because he says you do the tones, and that's not how you say the words.
What helps you to learn Dutch?
I think that what helps me is just being in the environment. I don't. A lot of people here feel like, oh yeah, people are just speaking in Dutch and this and that. But if you try to listen, you understand, and it's easier. That I think that helps me a lot when I go to family reunions or I see other friends and they're sometimes they get along with other friends and they forget. But I try to keep up with that and listen to music also, even though it's hard. It's a
There
bit
is a
hard.
podcast, it's called Universiteit van Vlaanderen. It lasts about 15 to 16 minutes, and you can listen to it because it's a beautiful, proper Dutch, as they say. And it's sometimes it's very interesting because there are different facts from different researchers, which, for example, work in the University of Antwerp or in University of Brussels or in University of Leuven, and they explain their findings, and then you can reach on your vocabulary. It's very interesting.
And also reading kids' books. Did you
Yes,
know that
Teeny
helps
Boeken. Do you have
you?
Teeny Boeken? I will give you one. It's amazing. It's just
I
amazing.
think that was like a friend of mine. She came here when she was 16, and her Dutch is ongelooflijk. It's like she's from here. She's an artist, and she told me she was the one who told me look for kids' books, and I bought a book that was about food. And it has all of the different names on how to call the things, and I was like, oh, okay, the ayan,
I think I'm going to ask to borrow that one as well.
it's a super cute book, and it was in color and watercolors, and I was like, okay. At the same time, I like to draw, so I was like, oh, we can get inspiration, and then I see the names, and I'm like, okay, ayan, okay, this is how you say it, tomat.
How was the process of adaptation to other country when you moved first time? I think it will be either USA or Taiwan.
Moving was to Taiwan, and I think that what helped me there was that I had a lot of Latinos around me because it was a scholarship program that we had. It was super nice that okay, we're all from the same country, we speak the same language, and we can get together. But then we got to know that in Taiwan there was so many people from Latin America because a lot of people were getting scholarships, and we went all to the same Mandarin center. So it was super nice to okay, after school we can study together, we can go together to explore things, and it was a pretty easy adaptation. It was actually I was very blessed with the people that I found and I got to know, and I also made a lot of Taiwanese friends until I got to university after the Chinese studying year. So it was very nice. I feel that I've been very blessed to incorporate myself, but that was an easy transition. I think that the hard one was the one when I was in Dubai. Nobody spoke Spanish. I think that also I was in a very working environment, so it was all a bit harder. I was just concentrating on trying to get my best. My focus was a bit different. Even though I made a lot of friends from Asia, from all around Asia. I have friends now from Myanmar, and we always spoke in Chinese. And with other people, like I had friends now from India, it was always English. But I couldn't find my little scope of where to go back home. That was a hard time. But then I moved here, and I see that people are even more open. Even though people say that Belgian people are no, they're everybody's super nice here, and
I agree.
they
People
have
are very
different
friendly.
interests. They're very friendly. That's the word. When I came here, I was so happy. The fact that the first time I entered to have my interview, somebody greeted me in Spanish, and I was like, "What is this?"
It's amazing. That's so cool. But for example, if we speak about the language, like if you learn new language after second or third, it's easier. Can you say also that if you move from one country to another, it's easier to adapt? Like your experience in Dubai, did it influence your way of adapting to Belgium?
I think that yes. I think that learning languages, it's a bit more easier when you're in the different environments because you're exposed to it and you have to practice and learn it. Like my Chinese, I didn't lose it. I didn't learn Arab. I just learned some words, but my Chinese got way better because I was working in a Chinese company and I was exposed to it. But then the living situation is different when you have to adapt. And I think that my transition from Dubai to Belgium was super nice because it was everything that I had not found in Dubai. I was finding it in Belgium. I could find nature. I could find uh, different place for experiences. Like, okay, if you want to go to an art museum, you have this kind of expositions and you have this kind of expositions, or if you want to do something interactive, you can also find it. So there were more things to do. So it was easier. And also the fact that I had someone here, that it
Mhm.
was my boyfriend, and
Mhm.
like he's the one who proposed the change actually. And at the beginning, I didn't understand that it was a big sacrifice until about 4 months ago.
Welcome in the club.
Yeah, I didn't know about that until he told me. He told me, you did a big sacrifice. You left everything.
Mhm.
Because I could have easily gone back home, even though my parents were not going to be happy. Because my parents are the ones who pushed me due to the situation in Nicaragua. They say, go and grow and develop yourself in other places.
You can always come back as well.
Exactly. The transition here, I think it was super nice. Also, the fact that when I was studying in Vlerik, I met people from other places. There were Latinos. There were also people from here. There were people from India, from Pakistan, from Romania, from the Netherlands,
Mhm.
Korea. So it was like very nice. I knew some of the cultures, so it was nice. I think that also being exposed to different places has made me more conscious of how different cultures are, and how sometimes you have to understand that if some people don't want to cross a certain boundary, it's not because
They
I
don't
want
like
to
you
be
or
mean,
whatever.
or
Yes.
that's it's just they haven't been raised up in that way, and it takes
They
time.
have their own different cultural background, and in some countries it is okay if you touch someone, but in other countries it's like keep
In
away from
Asia, it's
me.
like, don't hug me. It's
Yes.
very, you have to really know the person and like get into that. But I know that here, for example, I love the fact that you can
People
hug
kiss 3 times
times.
when they say Happy New Year. They kiss you 3 times on your cheek, and it's
Or if
just
it's a
cute.
celebration, yeah. If it's
Yes,
a
like
celebration,
congratulations. Did you feel homesickness living in different countries?
I actually experienced homesick until I was in Dubai. In Taiwan, I think that it was the fact that we had our embassy there, so it was very nice. We had our ambassador. We did a lot of events from Nicaragua. I got to represent Nicaragua in so many different things. It was so nice. In Taiwan, there's even a park that's called Park Nicaragua, and they have our national flower. It was
So
like,
cool.
wow.
I didn't know that.
But
But it's because of the tight connection between Nicaragua and Taiwan.
well, the type connection that they used to have, because unfortunately it was
Yeah,
in
okay, but the current.
2021 in December 3 or 4 that we broke ties, and now we have ties with China. It was a
It defines a
very,
lot,
yeah,
indeed.
it was a very tough period because I felt that the Taiwanese government was so, I am super grateful for them, the opportunities that they gave me. I did my best. I was the best scholarship in academic standards. So for me, it was something very hard because for me, till this day, Taiwan is my second home. It's something that I haven't found. It's still not even here that I have my boyfriend. Taiwan was my second home. But yeah, it was until I was in Dubai that I think that it was the lack of not being able to speak my language really make me feel that homesickness.
What do you do when you miss your family, of home, of friends, or sister? I think you have
My
sister.
sister and my brother, I call them. Right now, I have to, one of my New Year's resolution is to call more. I used to call them more often, but with every time you have to be checking the time differences, and it's
How many hours is
so
with
annoying.
Nicaragua?
Right now it's 8. But when I miss them, when I miss home, I like to draw a lot, so I try to draw places where I have been. I like to listen to music from my country, and I like to cook.
When you moved with all the countries you lived in, how did you create place which you call home? What is it for you?
I make my home by me expressing my different areas. I know that wherever I go, I'm gonna have a corner of art.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see it right now in my cloffice. I have a space where I have all of my different utensils where I want to paint, and it's a little corner. I think that also I influence a lot on the things that I buy for the dining room and the kitchen. And it's until now that I'm learning to have flowers. My boyfriend made this promise that he was like, from now on, every time you're gonna have flowers in this house. And it's very nice, and that makes it very homey. But I think that it's more like I get excited to buy baking things also, and I know that I'm gonna have like a baking area and like a cooking, some utensils specifically for different things. So I think it has to do with the dining kitchen area and my art. I know that that's gonna be what
Mhm.
makes it home for me.
And did you move your art or your kitchen stuff from one country to another?
Basically, my life has been for this no, now 8 years, has been in 3 luggages. And I try to take as much as I can, but sometimes it's like you have to let it go. It
Indeed.
hurts, but you have to let it go and start something new. I think that for right now, I need to take a break from moving. It's hard.
It is hard, indeed.
It's really, people don't understand. It's so hard to start your life. And like, I think that I'm still trying to find my way here in Belgium. I really love it. I'm still lacking the finding myself because I was living in Brussels. Then I moved in between Turnhout and Sint-Niklaas, and now I live only in Sint-Niklaas. But now we're trying to see, are we going to move to Antwerp directly or do we stay in Sint-Niklaas? But for right now, like my boyfriend told me, let's relax.
Just not rush, indeed.
Let's not rush. Let's save. Let's travel, but find yourself first. And I was like, that's very helpful because you feel the stress of wanting to feel comfortable. And it's not that you're every day like, oh, I hate it, but it's just that you want to find something that it's like, my usual coffee place or
I know.
my usual bookstore. When I was in Brussels, I found my area convenient until the last minute, and then I had to move.
How do you feel living in a new country in Belgium? What is it? How is it?
It's an adventure. I am finding out that Belgium is like super filled with a lot of history, and there's different places in just one country. You can go to the seaside, you can go to forest, you can go, okay, if you want more city like. And I've always lived in the capitals. I lived in Taipei, I lived in Dubai, I lived in Brussels. So it's very interesting that now I'm not living in the capital, but I'm living in in a small. Well, it's not even a small town because it's actually one the first or second biggest city in East Flanders.
The Sint-Niklaas, you mean?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's it's very. I think that it's being very nice. It's just a different stage in my life, so I'm trying to figure out different things. Just did the MBA. Now I'm working in an international company, but it's amazing that I'm gonna be able to work with my country neighbors. So it's very nice.
What did you Google about Belgium before you moved here?
Nothing.
It's fine.
I was super savage for this last country. I was like, I came to visit Europe for the first time when I was still working in Dubai. I came to visit my boyfriend because he visited me in Dubai. And I was like, okay, I want to see Europe for the first time. Let's see how it is. I came and I was like, you know what? I wanted to be a surprise. I don't want to actually look at anything. And like, he was super excited to show me Europe for the first time. We even did a trip to Paris on the 2 weeks that I was here. And we also did a trip to the Netherlands.
Luxembourg?
No, we did a lot of here of Belgium, and so but it was more the Flanders side, and we did a lot of Antwerp, we did a lot of Ghent, we did Bruges. So it was very nice for me to just go without expectations. I just wanted to see something different. I loved the way that I explored Belgium, and I really liked it. And I was like super fascinated on how people wear and like the costumes. And like I remember when we went to Ghent, we ate the noches, the coubertons. And that was, oh my God, I was like, they love sweets. I love sweets. The
We
waffles.
match. That's a match.
So these are the beans, by the way, and they're
Looks like cacao. Or
they're all
chocolate.
mashed
Mhm.
up. So they're refried beans, refried black beans.
Which local Belgian food do you like?
Oof, where to start?
You already mentioned nootjes and coubertons.
I love also voulez-vous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I love it. I love waterzooi. I love what else? Of course, I love frietjes.
Did you have any situations in Belgium which were
Culture shock here. Till now, I don't. Well, for me, the culture shock is just the how different it is if you go to the Wallonia side, and how is it that if you go to the Flanders side and then you go to Brussels. That was a shock, I think. And the biggest shock is I hate the fact that they close everything on Sunday. It's like, why?
or it's
Why?
8 o'clock and no 6 o'clock the stores. You cannot go shopping in.
The mall in Dubai was open till midnight, and then I came here and it was only at 6, and I was like, Jesus
But I'm
Christ.
working. When should I come? Or what we were discussing, and we were discussing it, is the fact that in Belgium, if you're invited on a wedding ceremony, you are only invited on a particular part of it.
That was very odd. Yeah, that's true.
It was really odd. If you could come back to the moment when you just moved to a new country, knowing all the experience, what would you tell to yourself?
Wow, that's a good question. But I think it's like, don't be afraid to be yourself. It doesn't matter where you go, you're gonna find people who will like you and people who won't. And it's just a matter of showing yourself and being yourself. I think that that has helped me all the way. I I still get a lot of messages like I really miss you and like this and that, and wherever I go, I just am myself. I think that that's a message that I would say, like, don't be afraid to be yourself. Okay, sometimes you have to accommodate yourself into this new culture, but don't lose yourself. Just be yourself. And that's the thing that I don't agree with people saying, like, yeah, when you learn another language, it's like you're a total different person. No, I'm Elena the same in Chinese. I'm funny also. I'm funny in English. I'm funny in Spanish. Trying to be funny in Netherlands. I try to do my best and people still laugh. So it's getting there, and it's just being yourself.
What beautiful and meaningful things in Belgium are for you?
Ooh.
We can start with your boyfriend.
He's the sweetest human I've ever met. I'm very lucky to have him. I approve this message. Felix, you're the best boyfriend. But I think that beautiful things I loved. We went. It was like 2 months ago that we went to Turbuy. I think that that was so beautiful. There's so many small towns in Belgium and castles in the Wallonia side, La Hulp. There's beautiful forests in Turnhout where you can walk. I think that the nature areas that are here are very nice. It's really nice. And the old cities, I think that it's something like Ghent is something that people must visit, and also Bruges. It's so beautiful, the history and how people the it's still maintained.
Would you prefer to know all these nice things about Belgium before you moved here?
I think that for other people, I know that some people are not really those kind of people who just take the risk right away and like to overthink it. I would, if I was one of those persons, I think I would have liked to know all of those things. But if you're an adventurer and you want to come and see, Belgium is more than waffles, although they have different waffles and it's amazing.
So what do we have here?
We have
Eggs with chorizo,
correcto, tortilla,
cheese,
queso frito,
yes,
frijoles. So look, Exactly. And then you put a cheese in it. That's why you can open la tortilla.
Mm.
Oh my god, I love food.
Mm. That's amazing. Do you have any specific questions? How is it to live abroad? Are you the one who moved to other country and would like to tell your stories? Please send me a message to cardamom.cookies.gmail.com. So like this video, follow this channel, and stay tuned to receive new stories. Thank you, Elena. Thank you for having me. You.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. That was awesome. Like
That
and
was awesome.
subscribe. Living abroad is hard, but this kind of experiences are really cool.